Welcome to Nomad Media, Automotive Tales, where we tell a little bit of history, vehicle stories, and some unique and personal experiences. Let's get right into it. So today we have Thomas Burgstresser with his 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner. How about we get right into it, man? I know you know some interesting facts about this car that I don't think I've ever heard before, man.
Well, in '68, the Roadrunner was introduced, and with that being said, Chrysler had to pay Warner Brothers like $50,000 for the rights to use the Roadrunner, with an additional 10 for the sound of the little horn that comes with it. Sounds like a Roadrunner.
You know, that's not a lot of money compared to modern day. Like modern day stuff, if you had to license a cartoon character or something, I would think it'd be in the millions. But
Probably
you're saying
would.
$50,000 for the likeness and the name, but $10,000 for the horn?
Yeah, I guess, because of the unique sound that the Roadrunner had.
Mm-hmm.
So they used that as a marketing type deal, and they had copyrights to it.
Yeah, and for people that don't know the Roadrunner sound, we'll play you a little clip here. But the sound is unique. I mean, it's definitely different from other horns of this era. The beep beep is it's so cool in my opinion, because I'm just old enough to remember the Roadrunner cartoon.
Right.
Like Wile E. Coyote never being able to catch him, which, sorry Ford boys, but the Coyote just don't touch the Roadrunner. So. Yeah.
But they done so good in '68, '69, when the Roadrunner come out, they sold like 84,000, and with 5,000 of those being sold out in the United States. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it kind of had an iconic mark on the market. Mm-hmm. And then in '70, it come out to this body style, and you could being a Roadrunner, it kind of had a little bit of luxury, but the GTX was a more higher option package. Mm-hmm. It's kind of more luxury. You got all your wood grains and chrome and performance. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a fun car, very fun car to drive.
Yeah, and I think so GTX is the high option. Roadrunner is the middle, low.
Well, so, kind of middle.
Middle, and then what's the low?
They done a Belvedere.
Okay, Belvedere.
And if I'm not mistaken, they made a sport satellite in it too. So there's about 4 different options you could get.
All same body style, and they're all just different trim levels in terms of like luxurious, I guess.
Yes, engine wise, like a Belvedere. I mean, I'm just saying, most of them was, probably 318s, but you probably, if you wanted a slant 6 back in, you probably get one of them too.
Yeah. I mean, Roadrunner's a cool car though. I mean, you get the cartoon character, and like,
yeah.
What's better?
I'm telling you,
What's better than that?
It's good. To watch a cartoon and then wind up with a car with it on the side of it, that's pretty neat.
So you got a car and a tune.
That's it. Yeah, got a tune with the horn.
Yep. Well, I know you love this car, man. Like, how'd you go about ending up with this car? Like, what's the story of getting to this car?
Well, the story of this car, it took about 20 years worth of flipping of different cars to get this car.
Mm-hmm. How'd that start out?
Well, it started out with a little old Dodge Dart, and I traded it. I was like, well, okay, little Dart, it's kind of down at the bottom. Mm-hmm. I'll trade up to a '66 Belvedere, and I had it shortly.
I'm sorry, when you say a Dart, like 66 Belvedere, are you talking about a classic Dart, modern Dart, like are you talking 60s, or are you talking like a 2000 Dart?
No, I'm talking 70
Dart.
I'm sorry, 70 Dart, and then I traded it for a '66 Plymouth. I figured the Plymouth would be worth more than the Dart, mm-hmm. and I wound up selling it. I had back trouble, so I sold it, mm-hmm. and It really probably started with a Dodge truck I bought and sold it on eBay to a guy. So I got the ball rolling, and I wanted to get to a point to get a 4-speed car, and finally I wound up with a Barracuda. And I said, well, okay, a Barracuda's a lot more valuable than a Belvedere. Nothing against a Belvedere, but a lot of people love their Barracudas.
Yeah, I remember your Barracuda. It was really nice.
And I seen this car on Marketplace, and I'm like, hey, I got a 50-50 chance of getting this car. See if he'll trade. It's either going to be yes or no. And he said yes, but it took the Barracuda and a bass boat to get it, so I wound up with it.
Well, let me ask you, when you started all this flipping and trading for it, you said you started with a little Dodge truck, right?
Little Dodge Dart.
Like Dart or truck?
Dart.
Dart. And so you went from the Dart to a Belvedere, and then you went from a Belvedere to
a truck.
A truck, and then you went from the truck to the
Duster,
and then the Duster to the Cuda.
To another Belvedere.
Another Belvedere.
And then traded that Belvedere for the Barracuda.
That Belvedere for the Barracuda. Were you ever nervous during those trades? Because you're talking a lot of trade. Now you did say over 20 years, I guess. So
yes.
You're talking about. Were you ever nervous during that time? Because over 20 years, is a long time. Meaning, the market is doing all this type of stuff while you're doing this, and you're probably seeing it. Like, what were you thinking on some of these trades? Like were there any that you were particularly nervous about?
Well, pretty much nervous on all of them because I wanted to trade to get a better car than what I had that would be more or less worth more or more valuable or more want a car, as if desirable, yeah. People would like. So I didn't see, unless you got a big block Dart or something like that, these guys with these B bodies, they won't hurt your feelings. Well, I'm not interested or something.
But with that being said, though, so there was no time trading that you got nervous about it, like you weren't too confident on the trade or something along them lines, or.
Yes, I got nervous quite a bit, because I looked at it as a 50-50 chance. Either they was going to say, yes, I'm interested, or no. But, if they said no, I just, you just have to soak it up and say, hey, I appreciate your time, But, it ain't every day you can come out your pocket with $50,000 for a car.
Yeah.
I a whole lot rather trade if I could,
Okay, so you were more nervous about whether they would say yes or no.
Exactly.
I mean, even though it didn't matter either way. If they said no, well, you keep your car.
Right, I'm still happy with what I had.
Yeah, and it's just, if they say yes, great, you're going to step up or however you want to look at it. You're going to get closer to that goal. Well, that's good to know, that you weren't nervous and stuff, because I know when I'm thinking about a trade, my nervousness doesn't come from whether they say yes or no, or I guess it does, but my nervous is more when they say yes.
Right.
When they say yes, am I trading for a basket case, or am I trading for a solid car that's in a good condition? That's my nervousness, but there's also, you can work through a basket case, depending on what it is. But with this B-body, though, I know you came out pretty dang good, in my opinion,
Yeah.
Now, I know I've seen your Barracuda at one point in time. I didn't ever get to look at it super close, though. So
Right.
I'm assuming that this is a pretty even trade here. But I know that this car, though, I've seen this one inside and out. It's really nice, really nice. So I'm sure that the Barracuda was just as nice, if not better, right?
It was a nice, clean car, but it was a base model. It was a 318 car, not a high-performance 340 car. But it was a clean little car, and I figured the Barracuda spoke for itself for what it was. Now, I knew the 340 cars would be worth more, but I guess this guy was a flipper, and that he liked what I had, I liked what he had. And getting back to what you said about getting nervous, when they said yes, in your mind you're hoping well, well, I hope I'm doing the right thing. You start second guessing yourself. Is this car going to be a solid car as my other one was? Because you know what you got instead of where you're going.
Yeah.
But it worked out, you know.
Now, I do know with you, though, this is what you wanted, though.
Yes.
Like, this is exactly what you wanted. Can you tell us why you wanted a Roadrunner? And also, let me just touch on the year a little bit. Was it the 70 Roadrunner you wanted? Because I know this started in 68, I think. So,
Yes.
like, was the 70 what you wanted?
Well, yeah, sort of a 70, but I really wanted a 69. Why? A friend of mine had one, and man, I loved it. You know, it was a nice ride, and man, you could hear him coming in it. You know, it just, as a kid, it took you to a good place.
Yeah.
You know, like, golly, that thing is beautiful.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's hard to imagine having such a nice car. Sounds so good when you're, was this before you were driving, 16? Or?
Oh, Lord, I was a kid, you know, and you could hear it. You know, back then they just had an iconic sound. I don't remember probably what kind of mufflers they had on it, but it sounded good. And I was like, man, if I ever get a chance to own one, I'm gonna set that goal. You know, I want one.
Well, when you say you want one, is this one everything you wanted? Like I'm assuming this has bigger than a 318 in it.
Oh yeah, it's a 383 pistol grip 4-speed.
Okay.
If you ever get a chance to sit in one of them and grab a hold of that shifter, there's no greater feeling than that shifter.
And if you're out at car shows and you see one of us, ask us. Because I know, at least for mine, I'm not going to speak for Thomas here, you can get in my car if you ask me. Don't just hop in it, but just ask. We'll let you get in it. So.
Yeah.
But it is definitely a cool feel if you've never grabbed a pistol grip. It is a really cool feeling, like shifter. Not that many people know what a manual shifter is these days,
Right.
but the pistol grip, it is a whole nother like level of cool.
Right, it's just a different feel.
Oh yeah.
And it being my first 4-speed car, in a muscle car and a Dodge and a 4-speed, golly, it don't get no better.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and that's what I wanted. I shot for it. I kept a goal, and if you set a goal, just don't give up.
Yeah, that's a good message there too. And so, with that being said, let's get this thing crunk up and let's hear some of this nice old sounds from back in your day.
All right, let's do it.
So with that, that's Thomas Burgstresser's 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner. Man, this is a nice car. It's awesome. And I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about it. Is there anything you'd like to tell anybody that may be watching?
Yeah, if you got your goal set on getting a Pacific car, keep that goal. Don't give up. Whether you got cash or you might have a car you may want to flip. Maybe try to trade up, but don't never give up.
Yeah, go for what you want. That's definitely that's a good message for everybody. Always work for what you want. Don't work for no reason,
Right.
And man, thank you again for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
You know, and with that, that'll do it for today's episode. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
I'll see you at the next car show, okay?
All right, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.